Yeah,
So
yeah.
for people who don't know, what is Formula Woman?
So Formula Woman is a competition for women with little to no experience in racing. As long as you've got a driving license, so 17 up to you could literally be 90 as long as you could get in a car.
I'd love to see that.
You know what? I can't remember what the facts were, but I'm pretty sure the guy who Graham, who founded the competition, he was saying there was we had an 80-year-old lady or something.
Why not?
Oh yeah, we had. You know what? There was just all walks of life there,
Yeah.
and it was epic to kind of just see all these people. We all had one thing in common.
Yeah.
We all have a love for motorsport. But yeah, there was just so. I mean, in the finals, when I got right through to the last stage, in the top 10 or whatever, we had a mum of 3 who was like 37, and then someone who had literally just passed a driving test, 17.
That's what's cool about that competition, I suppose. That's the appeal of it. Anybody can have a go.
So yeah, back getting off on a tangent already. It was essentially it's a competition where we would all battle it out through different assessments, different tests, kind of thing, to find 4 winners and 2 backup, should we say, reserve drivers, and they would win a seat in a McLaren GT4 racing in the GT Cup this year, which the first round is next weekend, is next Saturday, yeah, the 10th of April, which is insane prize. I mean, if you wanted to go off and do the GT Cup yourself, you're looking like 100 to 150 grand a season.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not something you keep down the back of the sofa.
No.
And for us the Formula Woman competitors, we were all supposed to have little to no experience. So to kind of be able to race in that is serious work. These cars are like, they're pretty fast. They're not, you know what I mean? It's not your Vauxhall Corsa that someone minces round McDonald's in.
So how do they check what experience someone's got? How do they make sure like someone...
Through the competition.
Yeah, how do they vet it?
They said we had to self-vet ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few people disagree with that. And I think next year, hopefully, they'll kind of change it and maybe they'll look into it. Some of the winners are probably more experienced than I think the competition cares to admit.
Yeah.
But
I suppose, how old is this competition?
So the first kind of spin-off of it was in 2004.
Right.
And ITV picked that up and made a reality TV series out of that. Potentially, I think they did it in 2006 again, and then that was it. It was like radio silence till last year when it came back around.
So 2021 was the first version of this one.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And this one again is a reality TV show.
Right.
I'm not sure where it's going. They haven't yet released where. I don't know whether they maybe have to still go out and, you know, when you kind of have to bid it off for people to see who wants to pick it up or whatever. So for the entire any assessment days or any the finals and things like that, there was constantly a camera in your face.
Yeah.
The hardest part was literally smiling all day long.
So this is going to go out somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On ITV.
No, so the first one was ITV back in the day.
Okay, right.
I'm not sure. It could be, but
they might be going to package up and sell it to
that's
TV
what
channel.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. They'll have to go somewhere. So I'm not sure where it'll go. If all fails, it'll be on YouTube, won't it?
So how did this all start? What was the qualification process for it?
So you just had to apply online, literally write down your experience and say why you wanted to enter, and then if you got accepted, you got a password to the online portal. You had to do 2 online assessments, which was the basics of motorsport. So knowing your flags, knowing understeer and oversteer, which are kind of basic principles of racing a car. And then also you have to do would you call it a mindset test, or I was going to say a mental test, but that makes you sound a bit crazy. But it's just how your mindset towards being a winner and things
okay, so
like
asking
that.
you loads of questions and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there was kind of a pass or fail on that one. I think it was just you had to kind of complete it, and it would give you a little bit of help, I guess.
Right,
Like, it would just help you get on the way.
Can anyone be too competitive?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
What would you do to win? I would kill. You can't compete.
You're out.
It's enough from us.
You know what we're looking for.
So how many people applied?
Around 800.
I'll say it was quite a lot.
Yeah, 800. Then we all got, and they were for like 26 different countries.
Yeah.
Then we all got an assessment day. Mine was at Knockhill, which is a track in Scotland. Some people went to Anglesey, which is literally on the edge of Wales. It looked mega, like the track. I kept saying to everyone, I was like, if you spin off, you end up in the sea, because that's exactly what it looks like from the aerial footage. And then there was some down in Bedford, and there was loads of people from India applied, so they actually did an assessment out in India.
Right.
And theirs looked way better than the UK one, I'm just saying. It looked mega theirs. So then they dwindled us down from the assessment day, and on that you literally got 3 laps in an electric Corsa, which you know when you signed up to a racing kind of competition and you think, give me something fast to drive. But it was kind of just to see if you've got, you know, the lines and you've got kind of racing kind of instinct.
Yeah.
Then we had like a fitness test, a media test, because obviously it was going to be televised. You had to be able to speak.
Yeah.
In
Well,
front
back
of a
then,
camera.
that's when we were going to potentially do it then.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I was thinking, well, it didn't work out time-wise for me anyway in the end, but it's probably better now. We're going to have a better conversation now afterwards than,
Yeah,
than
definitely.
then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely. And then what else did we do? We did like a little karting assessment, and a written assessment. And the written
really testing your all aspects of you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything on the first assessment was kind of pretty basic, to the point of nothing too challenging. Because I mean, there's 800 people there, and they were dwindling them down to 50. So you kind of didn't want to scare too many people off. So yeah, I mean, 3 laps in a Corsa, and then the written stuff was
there someone in with you in the car with you?
Yeah, so they were assessing you.
Right.
There was like, I think there's like 5 like official Formula 1 coaches who are all female, obviously.
Yeah.
To keep up with it, which is good to see, like, what they're actually doing, because they're either still professional racing drivers or maybe.
Well, they used to be.
Out. Yeah. So just to see, like, they can do it. So
yeah,
why can't we do it?
Yeah.
And then in amongst all the assessments, you could pay to do some track days with Formula Woman. Pay to go get your racing license with them. They did like data courses. So if you were literally brand new to motorsport, then
it's a full package, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You could go along. So I went along to one of the track days. Smiled from start to finish.
I can
Absolutely
imagine.
Loved it. It was at that point I thought, oh no, this is going to get expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you get hooked. You really do. They always say, once you get the bug. So I did another track. I did 2 track days in total. Went and got my race license with them, so I can officially go and actually race in quite a few competitions. And then then we got the email just before Christmas, which, if you got through like I did, brilliant Christmas present. Can you imagine getting the email that said, sorry, it's not for you, and you're thinking, God. Merry Christmas, guys.
That's the worst timing if you're not getting through. It's the best timing.
Yeah, I can remember sitting there. I was sat at my breakfast bar and I was just totally chilled out, and I just got this email, and normally it'll come up. We used to get weekly newsletters that kind of filled you in on what was happening, any events and stuff, and it just popped up, and the first line said, this is the email you've been waiting for. And I kind of looked at it and I was just like, I was like, I'm in. And my mum's like, in what? I was like, the finals.
What do you think?
And she kind of, you know what, my mum turned around and she just went, yeah, well, we knew. I was like, oh, thanks, but also can we get excited about this?
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone was, the support I've had, and I know kind of Cumbria, the support of Cumbrians when anything's going on.
Yeah, that's why you're here.
Yeah, they literally get behind you 1,000%, and that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah. So how many got through then from the 800?
50 went through to the fact. Sorry, they said it was going to be top 50, but when we got there was 70.
Probably had to do an extra few because I know a lot of dropout and things happen.
Exactly, so. And also with a lot of people coming from abroad, because if you say if you were in India and you got through, you had to actually come over to the UK for the finals.
Right.
Well, with COVID and
I was
things,
going
you
to
just
say,
don't know.
still a few restrictions going, isn't there?
Yeah, and people with you have to get your vaccines and things like that. You just don't know what's going on. So it was about 70, and then the finals were over. There was 3 rounds. The first round was over 2 days, and we went down to a kart track, PFI down in Lincoln. And on the first day, we got split up into groups of 15, and you had to do karting, which was the kind of split it into practice, qualifying, and then like a full race.
So how did that lap go then?
So I was 0.6 of a second, which is quite a lot, but for my first time, I was buzzing with it off the benchmark time, which is a time that someone goes out and sets, who's obviously...
It's like a par, like a golf par.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then after, I think another 6 people went out, I was second. One of the girls who I was really close with, who's mega on the track, she went faster than me. And then once I'd seen kind of 5 people go below me, I was like, I'm through. So I was like, I don't want to look at the times. And I said to everyone, I don't want to look at the times because there's nothing I can do. Once it's done, it's done. Like, what's the point in beating myself up?
Yeah.
So I was watching. I just went to one of the organisers and I said, technically, I'm through because 5 people have gone slower than me. But just to make sure you're not going to throw a curveball, are you? Like, no, like, not as far as we're aware. But then the track started drying out. And a drier track means you can go faster. Obviously, by the time...
You feel more confident as well, don't you, if you know it's drier?
They were going out with hot tyres, hot brakes. So there was like...
That's a massive disadvantage, anyway.
It is. And I did say to them beforehand, I said, who's going to go warm my tyres and my brakes up? And they said, oh, I'll do them. And I thought, that's fine. Do you know what? Again, it's not going to make that much of a difference. There's only 15 of us. And the track was soaking. So I thought, stop making excuses for yourself and just go do it. So I did, but yeah, I went out at 1 o'clock and I was the first person. And 10 to 5, the last person went out. That's a big gap in between.
Weather can change a lot in that time.
It can.
And the temperature.
Yeah. So there was a dry line appearing on the track and the times were getting quicker and quicker. And I mean the times were getting faster by like 2 seconds.
Wow.
So a few of the girls who were maybe in, if football terms, relegation zone, were really freaking out. And they were saying, do you know what I mean? Like, there's people crying there. This is a big thing they're about to lose. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bar of chocolate.
Yeah.
It's a
big opportunity.
Yeah. So they were saying, this isn't fair. Like, you need to take something into account. And I think they did come up with a solution of grouping kind of us together. The first 3 that went out were in a group. The next 3 in a group.
Okay.
And then like the gap between them times, they did something with that. I'm not sure. I didn't pay much attention because in my head I was through, so I was safe.
Yeah.
But the people who needed to get through, they did. And then one girl's time wasn't as quick, but they give her a wild card anyway, so she got through. So there was supposed to be 10 of us going to Sweden, and there was 11.
Right.
So I think if they thought maybe that girl should have been through and I don't know, something got messed up, they just thought there's a seat on the plane, we can give her it, and sent her out there. So yeah, the lap, honestly, I just smiled from one lap. Who gets excited over one lap? I was smiling ear to ear the entire time. I absolutely love it. And then the week after, if you got through, which I did, the flew us to Sweden.
How many people got through that?
11.
So that was 11. Yeah, that was 11, yeah.
Yeah. Drove 6 hours down to Gatwick because I couldn't fly us from Carlisle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Carlisle's got its own airport now. It's going up in the world, isn't it?
They're like, the nearest is Gatwick. I thought, the nearest is Gatwick. I was like, to who?
Well,
someone in France.
Yeah. You at least could have an internal flight to Gatwick because it's the cheapest chips these days, aren't they?
I had a look and the only way I could do it is Glasgow. By the time I've drove to Glasgow,
that's not worth it.
No, so yeah, I just sent it down to
Hopefully
Gatwick.
Carlisle Airport will get like that, where you'll be able to have like at least decent internal flights to wherever you want to go. Like if you could go to Dublin or Glasgow or London.
I've flown from to Dublin before from Carlisle.
Cool. That's
on
what
a
we
plane
need.
with 2 propellers. I didn't trust it when I was on it.
So
yeah.
Sweden, what was the setup there?
So Sweden was
this classed as a semi-final?
This was the final. This was it. Sweden was the decider of who get the seat.
Right.
And we didn't kind of know what we would be doing. 2 weeks prior, they'd put on an event in Sweden, ice driving. So some of the girls had already been there like 2 weeks prior. Obviously had to pay for that yourself, whereas they were paying everything for us. But we didn't kind of know whether taking into account everything we've done so far in this competition. Because, I mean, at the first round of the finals at the karting, I won the final kart race by 37 seconds, which is...
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, like you watch Formula 1, don't you?
Yeah.
So 37 seconds is...
depends on the track. Sometimes that's like 3/4 of a lap.
Yeah, this was... I think it was maybe like 1 minute 40 laps. So it's like, yeah, it's like a third of the lap. And I was 2 seconds quicker than the next fastest time. So they literally give me a golden ticket there and then and said, whatever you do tomorrow does not matter. You're through. And it doesn't matter kind of how you scored throughout the day, because we had simulator tests, data tests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we went out to Sweden, it was ice driving.
Oh, yeah.
And we were all saying kind of, what's this got to do with GT racing? We were having to unlearn everything we've just spent however many 8 months learning to then go and learn the Scandinavian flick, which is rallying.
Right, okay.
So we were all a bit like, what's this got to do with it? And they were like, oh, it's car control and handling of this and
yeah,
that.
it's supposed to be like drifting, isn't it?
Yeah, but obviously if you're drifting a GT car, you're slow. Like, that's
Yeah.
bad. So, yeah, we were it was cool. Such a cool experience.
Oh, yeah.
I would literally go back tomorrow, and I smiled ear to ear. And we had to, we did 3 laps around this kind of small circuit with the instructor. And he kind of assessed our car control. And then we got 2 laps around this massive track, which was it was a frozen lake. Can you imagine Derwent water frozen? And it cracked underneath your feet.
Oh, wow.
The guy said beforehand, he was like, look, if it cracks, don't start running. The amount of people who have started to run, which was mega. And then that got timed by a guy with a stopwatch, so I'm not sure how how accurate that was.
How accurate that was, yeah.
And yeah, they kept saying to me like, how do you think you're going to do this afternoon on like the time stuff? And I was like, I have no idea. I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong. I've literally never dreamt of being a rally driver before, but I literally just thought, I'm just going to have the best time ever. I've been flown to Sweden on a Thursday to send a Porsche sideways on snow.
Happy days.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't get through because I wasn't, turns out I'm not very good on snow.
Did you get feedback then?
Yeah, they said my car control was epic. I don't think they used the word epic, but they said it was very good.
But that's what you heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, yes, I'll take it. And they just said my time around the track just wasn't good enough, which is disappointing. And
that's a very niche aspect of racing as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it literally, I'm never ever going to be racing on ice.
No. But you can say you've done it though.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually did ask me at the end when I didn't get through, and they interviewed me and they said, how will you take anything from this? Any driving techniques you can take from it? I said, no, not really. I said, obviously, if I'm sending a GT car around the corner sideways, it's slow. I said, however, in December, when it starts snowing in the UK, I'll get to McDonald's in half the time.
Yeah. But most of that stuff you were doing was filmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, is it Tokyo Drift?
Yes.
The very beginning was that massive chase, and he gets to the police station, and they're playing it on the screen, and he goes, can I get a copy of that?
Yeah. I was standing on the ice, and I said, how unreal must it have been to film all the James Bond stuff when they did it like in an Aston Martin on ice? That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Because someone's actually drove that. And,
I was going to say, do you think you'll do it again?
No.
No?
So I've got a free pass straight into the finals next year. But no, I don't think. When I've kind of put down on paper, if I didn't pay for the extra kind of track days and stuff like that, when I put down on paper what track time I got, it wasn't a lot.
Right.
Was kind of 3 laps in the Corsa that I keep going on about, and then there's the karting, which it's got the same principles, but it's not comparison to racing a GT car. You've got so much more going on, and then the 1 lap in a Jag, and then your car's on ice, which is a cool experience, but nothing really to do with GT driving and things like that. And then there's kind of a lot of stipulation around how much experience can you have for the competition.
I suppose technically you're much more experienced.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.